Why, thank you, esports fan. Yeah, 2-0 for Splyce.
Esports fan.
Well, that's what he always says.
I guess
he's also an esports fan.
Yeah,
So we're going to focus on picks and bans, and after that, we're going to look a bit deeper into the Mordekaiser, as that was a very big pick in this pick and ban. But I just want to get your opinion on seeing how Vitality let the Rengar through again and deciding to ban out Shen, LeBlanc, and Camille in the first rotation. What did they do differently? What do you think their plan was, and what is your thoughts, and in the end, how good did they do?
Well, when we asked the question at the end of the last game about could they have a worse draft than
they tried.
Tweeting,
they definitely tried.
They certainly tried. So I think in an isolated circumstance, letting the Rengar through is okay. Then they end up picking the Olaf. That's kind of okay. We're like, that's not standard, but we're already not really quite liking it as it is.
You're too nice,
It gets
You're too
worse
nice.
as the draft goes on. Blind picking Katarina. Like, nobody does that.
I mean, that's the thing. You don't really know where to facepalm the hardest with this draft here because, one, obviously leave Rengar open again. You don't have an answer to it. So why do you even leave it open? Just ban the Shen.
Yeah.
Two, your first rotation Olaf. I have not seen a single team in the first 2 weeks of competitive League of Legends in Season 7, first pick and Olaf, or first rotation and Olaf. It is not a contested pick at all. You can get it much later in the draft. I have no idea why they're picking it, other than they want to see more picks to then maybe counterpick, but they didn't even do that. They didn't even counterpick anything, so that doesn't really make any sense. And then as you highlighted, Katarina coming in when you're... So I guess in a sense they didn't want like a Jace pick against a... Like they didn't want Wonder to maybe get Jace or some sort of carry, so they were afraid of first picking the tank, but you can play Poppy into Jace just fine. You can also first pick Jace here yourself and then take Katarina last pick anyway.
And that's the thing. A lot of people will go, well, who knew the Mordekaiser was coming? So you wouldn't guarantee it was coming. There's no way Vitality would be like, if we pick Cat, they're going to pick Mord. It's not that stupid in that sense, but the thing about it is, it has been played in solo queue. It's enough that, as you were saying, you could pick the Poppy or the Jace, leave Katarina for last if it fits in the position, you know, play it into something that is less good against it. You could try the Syndra or the Corki if that's what Splyce end up blind picking, which would have been likely. So there's just a lot of questions on why they put that Katarina in that position, because Nukeduck was basically in such a tough position from this draft.
Well, let's break it down then. The Mordekaiser versus Katarina, and the Mordekaiser in the bigger scope of the game. Starting with the lane matchup stress, break it down. Why exactly is Mordekaiser such a nuisance for this cat?
Well, one of the reasons is, you know, Deficio, you were talking about this a lot because it's a matchup you've seen. When Cat goes in, she has to be in melee range, and that's where Mordekaiser has always excelled. You get the 3 autos, hit him with that 3rd smack, and so much health goes.
Yeah, and also your W, obviously, as Mordekaiser, when you are in melee range, you can put it on a minion. You can very easily hit the Katarina. You can use it to get HP back as well, which is huge because you max it first. So when Katarina finally wants to trade, she can't one-shot you, which means you end up just out-sustaining her, and you get the push priority because, again, you're just standing in the minion wave, boom, 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 and dealing area damage. And there's really nothing Katarina can do to shove it back. And that means you have a free access to push mid and then go to Dragon.
Oh, and you know what's even better than, you know, Katarina not being able to push back is the whole team not being able to push back when you've got a Dragon coming through. And this was what the, you know, Crepo and Pyro were talking about a lot, is Splyce, rightly so, focus the Dragon at the earliest convenience. So as we, you know, look at this fight coming from Splyce and Vitality, Vitality try and pull forward into the pit here. Steelback gets jumped by Trashy. They know that this Dragon is fairly easy to secure, and Joko tries to kill Senkux and tries to get the Dragon at the same time, but Senkux is running exhaust.
Yeah, what I actually think happens here and in the following Dragon fight is Vitality has not played against Mordekaiser in such a long time in a competitive setting that they tunnel too hard on Dragons and stopping Dragons. Taking the fight was correct, but Joko then not actually going for the low HP targets and just charging to that Mordekaiser because he's afraid he's gonna finish the Dragon. There's still 900 HP left, and Trashy was still outside of the pit. He just tunneled too hard. Senkux stepped out of the auto attack range of the Dragon, so he started hitting Nukeduck and Joko instead, and just like one-shots the Olaf, and then obviously picks up the Dragon. Because look at this following fight here. Vitality does not need to focus Dragon at the moment. They get really low. Joko's down to 50% HP from this, so when he actually joins the fight, he's not really able to have much of an impact outside that one little engage, and that means you're not strong enough to actually team fight here. Because you tunnel on the Dragon first.
And then Wonder's just completely full health, walking around, autoing people with that passive, locking them down, the damage comes through, and at this point the game is already done. The second that second Dragon, maybe even the first one, walks mid lane, takes a tower, you're just in the most awful position for Vitality. Like, Steelback was trying to snipe people, but there's just not enough damage one person can do to offset this.
And we thought maybe Vitality later could could come back just slightly, because Mordekaiser is not the sickest like team fighter specifically, especially if you have some sort of CC to shut him down. But a fight like this where they might have an opening, they're so uncoordinated. Like KaBuShot dives in after Wonder instead of actually diving the backline with Nuke Dog. Because if he goes for like copy right here, Nuke Dog flashes after as well, and you're Poppy and Katarina versus this AD carry who won't have proper protection, you might actually have a chance of taking him down and then like resetting and jumping around. But then Cabo ends up going after Wonder to help his backline, and then Nuke Dog goes in alone. Honestly, Vitality plays solo queue. Yeah. There is no coordination in these two games we have seen. Same almost for last week, where Hachani suddenly is also sitting and hitting the backline of Splyce instead of helping his own AD carry. So Wonder actually managed to kill people because no one peeled anything.
Bad to worse for Vitality. Wonder managed to kill a lot of people and is also our player of the series. Debating Trashy, but when you get Rengar 2 games in a row...
It doesn't count. You can't get it with Rengar. It's too easy.
No, Wonder also did fantastic. Was able to get on those targets and peel and do a great job overall.
Again, he was honestly in a perfect situation. I don't think he's ever played a more like fun Nautilus game where no one seems to want to stop him.
And his Shen was good in game 1 as well. The ultimates onto the Rengar with Trashy set up quite a lot. So Wonder, you know, last week we were umming and ahhing perhaps about Splyce, whether they were finding form. This is a little bit better out of them, at least.
Definitely better, and really, really huge concerns for Vitality now coming into week 2 as well, because they're losing to these teams they're actually supposed to fight against for playoffs, but it looks like Vitality now are not good enough.
Not good enough for now, and Splyce 2-0, and QuickShot is on stage with someone who's going to tell us a bit more about that Mord. Splyce's mid laner.
Thank you very much, Sharks. Yes, I am joined by Senpai. First of all, congratulations on the 2-0. Let's start with the question that's on everybody's mind. Is Mordekaiser the counter to Katarina?
No, Mordekaiser is just super OP, that's why. Mord is pretty good into Katarina. It's like, Mord is generally a good champ versus me in the matchup, and I played against Mord one trick in Korea when we were bootcamping there, and learned a bit from him.
So is this something that you guys as a team had sort of spoken about, that if Katarina had made it to the draft, you know, you'd be comfortable picking it, or did you just decide that on stage today?
Nah, we've been talking about it a bit, but it really depends on the whole draft, and this scenario couldn't get any better. So I think if we had to pick Mord at any time, then it would be this game.
Well, it definitely showed 27-odd minutes to finish out game 2. We talked a lot about picks and bans. There's a lot of question marks around Vitality's pick and ban. In game 1, they banned Kha'Zix instead of Rengar. You guys first pick it. Caitlyn Nami in the bottom lane game 2. You know, letting the Katarina slide through Rengar as well. What's it like when you're on stage and your opponents have this, let's use the word strategy? How do you react to what Vitality are doing?
I think the first part is just take the OPs, and in this game that was Rengar. They didn't seem to want to ban it. I don't know if they got shocked by UL countering it last week, because it's a bit OP champ. I will say Trashy said as well he was a bit out of shape on the champ because we haven't been playing it for a bit, but in general Rengar is just super OP champ, so I think letting you through in 2 games is way too risky.
Yeah, it definitely showed 2-0. Splyce, you guys bounced back from last week, but we're seeing slow early games again from Splyce. This is something that plagued you all of summer last year. Is it too early to say it's still the same problems in the team?
I don't think you can say from these games, because the first game they had a comm that is very hard to dive through, and they were playing like really, really slow, standing at their towers, just farming with Caitlyn Iron, and it's really impossible for us pretty much to do anything with, like, we need to go around, take the jungle, and just play it really slow as well. And I think the second game, we didn't really play slow at all. Like, we a pretty fast-paced game, and we ended it pretty quickly as well. So I don't think it's the problem anymore. I think in the first week, it could seem like it again because we got really stomped versus HTK. And I think it was just a bit of a bad week.
It was a bad week. It was actually one of the heaviest losses that we've seen in the European LCS in the last sort of year or so. What happened? You know, was it just nerves on stage again, or you know, being caught off guard?
I think it was a bit of nerves personally, at least. Like, coming into the game, it was the first game. They've already played 1 game. I think in general, our pick and bans, we shaped them up a bit after. It wasn't the greatest, and our gameplay was really sloppy as well. So all these players have said that we were doing really well in scrims. I think that's correct, because we've been playing way better in scrims than we did against H2K. And when we got on stage, it just all like fell apart, and that's why I personally felt a bit bad about how people would see us for the first week.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Luckily, though, big statement series today, bouncing back 2-0. We're just about to set up with Giants versus Fnatic. Have you had a chance to scrim against them? And what would your prediction be on who's going to win today?
Yeah, I scrimmed against both teams, mostly against Fnatic. I would say Fnatic should win 2-0.
Well, there we go. Confident statement. Senkai, congratulations again on a strong showing today. I'm hoping to see more Mordekaiser from you in the future. As we go to an ad break, reminder, Giants versus Fnatic is setting up on stage. We'll see you in 3.5.
Johnny, this has turned real messy, and Mickey is burning down. The Dragon is up for grabs, but Joko is taken down, and they ghosted at him. Hachani's gonna get melted. And Nukeduck around the side, looking for an in if he can find it right now. Depth charge onto Steelback. Nukeduck trying for it. Wonder, he's going and takes Joko out right now. And he's gonna go down a Riptide, shutdown gold to Wonder. Cabochard, Joko, Hachani all trying to make this fight happen, but with the Ghost Dragon, the odds just are not even enough, and Senkux claims another kill. And Splyce, they just don't care with the flourish, a double kill over to Senkux, and it's all Nexus. GG, well played. Splyce, go 2-0.